going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
I'm Miguel.
And this year's Oscars slapped.
That was a good one. Oh my god.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been thinking about that all day. We're not gonna make fun of what happened, but I've been thinking about that all day. I was like, that's pretty funny. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, but it's definitely gonna be a topic of discussion.
It is gonna be a topic, as you saw. Welcome to our 66th episode. Tonight we're talking a couple of different movie news stories that I found. There wasn't a ton that dropped because, let's be real, it would have been overshadowed by everything else that happened. But we are going to talk a little bit, not only about that moment, but we're also going to talk the winners and a couple of our other thoughts about the show. Some things that they just kind of bother me about the Oscars, and we'll kind of get into all that. So, Miguel, buddy, this is the first episode of the main show that we've done in a couple of weeks. So, I'm stoked. I'm happy. I'm feeling good.
Has it really? Because I honestly thought that. Have we just been doing Purely and Simply Evil? Have we just been closing that out?
Yep, we really just finished out season 1 of Purely and Simply Evil. Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection were our final films in that franchise, and we finished those two out. The commentaries are all there, so you really go to our Twitter. The pin post at the top at We Talk the Movies is every episode we've done with a link. You can go to the Purely and Simply Evil playlist on our channel, and you can check out all the episodes there. Plus, the commentaries are on. So, any way you would like to slice it. Also, if you're listening on Spotify or any other podcast platforms, all of the episodes and their commentaries are on there as well. So we got you covered, but not like we got this covered because that's fake news. No, I'm kidding. So, lots to talk about tonight. We're going to talk some horror news. We're going to talk some Marvel news. We're going to talk some Godzilla versus Kong news that came out this week as well. Like I said, not a ton of stories because a few things were overshadowed by what happened. But I have to say this for myself. I'm not gonna lie. I felt a little nostalgic and emotional over this the last few days. Yesterday at, I believe, around 4:30 in the morning, The Walking Dead wrapped its final episode of the series.
Thank fucking God. No, I'm kidding.
No, don't be one of those people.
Very sad to hear that it's going to be ending.
I know people love to hate it, but we've talked about how much that series means to me, and I think means to both of us. I think you're still a fan, even though you're not completely up to date with it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm actually a couple episodes behind still. I have next week off, and I'm first of all, thank you. Second of all, I'm going to use next week. I'm going to catch up on The Walking Dead. I'm going to catch up on some content things I've wanted to do. We're going to do some commentaries to get a jump start on season 2. By the way, I would show the season 2 trailer for Purely and Simply Evil on this stream, but it already got a copyright notice. So I'm not going to get the stream because it like cuts to black. Basically, if you get a copyright notice in the middle of a stream, it just like, you're just gone. Like you're in the middle of talking and then suddenly it's like, yeah. And what? It's gone. So, but you can go check out the trailer for that as well. See, we got you covered, man. Everything,
yeah, we
everything you need. All of your
with everything you need except fake news, dog.
So I don't know, man. That would make a fun episode to do, like our top moments from The Walking Dead or something like that. Just because that show, man. Like looking at some of the pictures, like there was a video from a few different angles actually, but Angela Kang posted the best one on Instagram, and they had like the cue card, the thing that you snap, and the Greg Nicotero, and they're all standing there, and they had champagne and confetti and all kinds of stuff, and he was like, and he said, and that is a wrap on AMC's The Walking Dead, and he did the cue card for the last time, and everybody started I told Miguel earlier on the phone, I said it looked like a locker room, like at an NFL game after they just won, because everybody like they popping champagne, yeah, and like screaming, and confetti was flying, and it was cool, man. It's cool. That 12 years, I think 177 episodes by the time it's done. By the time it's said and done, it'll have 177 episodes.
Jesus. That's a long ass streak, man.
Crazy, man. That's a long run. That is a long run, and I don't know. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty freaking
very,
cool.
Very bittersweet. But obviously, if you guys do keep up with the Walking Dead news, you know that it's It is the end, but it's only the beginning, as you can tell with all the spinoffs coming through the pipework. So don't worry if you are sad about The Walking Dead, because there will be more to come.
Yeah, definitely. So let's do this. Let's start off with do you want to start with the good about the Oscars or the bad about the Oscars?
Let's start with the good about the Oscars.
Let's start with the good.
Dude. Why we gotta be so negative? Jesus.
Let's start with the good. So let's real briefly, and I think I stand for a lot of people when I say like I haven't seen all of the films that are on here, but let's just kind of go through some of the pictures and kind of just give them a little bit of credit, give them a little golf clap for the films that won Academy Awards. Let me see if I can make this a little bit. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Let's just go a little taint here. A little taint right up in here. Okay. So Best Picture.
Kentucky came out.
So Best Picture, Coda won, which I hear is phenomenal. I haven't actually seen it. But I think that's the one with the guy who's deaf who won, which that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Shout out to him, bro.
That was really, really cool. And the way he accepted his award, like I thought that was really, really cool. So Coda won, of course, congrats to the cast and crew of Coda. Nightmare Alley with Bradley Cooper. Hadn't seen that one. Don't Look Up was fantastic. I don't understand why people thought Don't Look Up was a terrible movie. I loved it. I thought it was great.
I have yet to see it.
It was good, man. It was good. It was sarcastic. It was funny. It was pretty good, man. Dune, which, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Early in the night when they started, like Dune, because there were a couple categories. It was like Dune. I was like, whoa. I was like, dude, Dune is about to win Best Picture. Like, holy crap! And of course, it didn't. But Dune was definitely a deserving one, especially because they really captured that really epic cinematic storytelling, like a Star Wars would, or you know what I'm trying to like one of those just really big the universe and
sci-fi epic, my
world. Like the world that you're playing in just feels so massive. Like there's so much story to tell. So Dune was also nominated. Drive My Car, Belfast, Licorice Plaza, The Power of the Dog, which I hear was also fantastic. Licorice Plaza, yep. That was that. Pizza. Pizza, whatever. I was saying it wrong.
Imagine the palace filled with licorice.
Yeah, but I hear both of those films, Licorice Pizza and The Power of the Dog, were very good. West Side Story, which was spectacular as well. That was really, really. Did you see West Side Story?
Mm-mm.
Dude, it was really, really, really well done.
Didn't the actress actress for West Side Story win?
I forget her name. Who played Anita in West Side Story? She killed it, man. She crushed it. She did a fantastic job. She won for I think she won Best Supporting Actress, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, represent.
And then King Richard, of course. King Richard was nominated. Didn't win Best Picture, but I heard great things about that. King Richard, of course, being about Venus and Serena Williams. Best Actor. My boy Will Smith did win Best Actor, despite all of the things that we have yet to talk about. I saw J-Dad's in the chat. What's going on, J-Dad? He says, smacks Brad. Keep Miguel's name out your...
Fucking hate you guys. Okay, I love y'all.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Andrew Garfield was nominated for Tick, Tick, Boom, which was also spectacular, man. Like, awesome. I think it's cool that 2 musicals were nominated because... both of them were fantastic. I'm not going to lie. I watched Tick, Tick, Boom. My wife watched it about a week and a half before I did. And she was like, it's about the guy, Jonathan Larson, the guy who wrote Rent, which if you're a musical or a music person, you know what Rent is. It's about the guy who wrote Rent and kind of his struggle with just being a dude. He feels like his time is running out. Like there's this constant like clock ticking in his head. He feels like he's running out of time. He's got to make it big. And he ends up kind of getting in contact with Stephen Sondheim. And it was a really cool story. And it's sad because Jonathan Larson actually wrote Tick, Tick, Boom. He wrote another musical that I don't think it really made it. Then he wrote Tick, Tick, Boom. He wrote a couple others, and then he wrote Rent. And he died at like 34 of a brain aneurysm. So,
that's stress, dog.
Yeah, it was a really good film. I definitely recommend
Life lesson. Stay stress free.
if you're into musicals. Benedict Cumberbatch, Javier Bardem, Denzel Washington, which, dude, I will say Denzel Washington, I think, is a great human being, because even when Will Smith won, he was like he, you know what I mean? He looked super happy, and like he was happy for him. So I don't know. I think Denzel is he's a good dude, man. I think
Denzel
he
is
saw
just
that
a
as
cool uncle that, just
yeah.
everybody just has no problem with. There's the uncle that everyone's scared of, Will Smith, and the uncle that everyone loves, which is Denzel Washington. So there you go.
So congrats to Will Smith. Congrats to the rest of those phenomenal actors. Best actress went to Jessica Chastain. Again, phenomenal actress. The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I hadn't seen. Honestly, we probably don't even...
You got to understand something right now. Most of these fucking movies right here, I do not know of, because the Oscar is so fucking irrelevant now. It's just like the general audience, if I'm being honest.
I love how, though, it's funny because it's like the Oscar, everybody's like, the Oscars are so irrelevant, they're whatever, nobody cares about the Oscars, but at the same time, it's like the biggest award show ever. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's for them.
It is. It's very much
mainly for all of them. It's for their own clout.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and yeah, I used to be hella hyped for the Oscars. Yeah, I used to love watching it, but then I started seeing, I guess the Oscars makes me feel less of a movie lover than I anticipated, because again, haven't seen The Eyes of Tammy, haven't seen The Lost Daughter. Who the fuck is Spencer?
I didn't see Spencer, but I really want to. That's about Princess Diana.
Spencer?
Dude,
about Princess Diana?
It was her nickname. Dude, Kristen Stewart. I like it. Like in that picture, you wouldn't know it. Bro, she looks identical to Princess Diana in that movie. Identical. Like, I don't know if they did like some kind of like heavy makeup on her, or like if it was just the way her hair kind of was curled under, but like she looked spot on. Like, whoever did like the makeup and costume design stuff like should get an Academy Award, because it was spectacular. But again, even in the best actress, I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that word. Even in the best actress category, there were a ton of phenomenal actors. Jessica Chastain, very deserving. Olivia Colman, Kristen Stewart, Nicole Kidman, and Penelope Cruz, also fantastic, J-Dead says, Denzel seems like he's kept himself grounded throughout his career and stayed true to himself. 100%.
Hell yeah.
I completely agree with that.
He totally gets it.
He seems like a really genuinely good guy. Best original song, No Time to Die, which Billie Eilish won. I was super happy for her because that's a great song. Dos Oreguitas, Lin-Manuel Miranda from Encanto.
Great accent. Jesus, fuck, dude.
Was it good?
Yeah, great accent. Good for you, dog.
I didn't practice.
Three languages. You can do 3 accents. Congrats, my guy.
I just went off the hook with that. Okay. Great song. Somehow You Do from what is that? 4 Good Days. Again, a movie that I don't
yeah.
A movie that I don't know. Be Alive from King Richard, and then Down to Joy. I personally would have been okay with No Time to Die or Dos Oreguitas. I think both of them were really good. I really like Lin-Manuel Miranda as a songwriter and as a musician. I think he's a really, honestly, possibly he's the guy who did Hamilton too, if you don't know who Lin-Manuel Miranda is.
Did he win an EPSI?
I believe so. He's super hot in the movie community right now. Or in the music community, excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wrote Hamilton. He did Encanto, In the Heights. That was the other big musical he just did. So he's doing a lot of really good stuff. He
just did In the Heights is his first musical he's written.
Right, but I mean, he's done he wrote the music for Moana. He wrote the music for Encanto. I mean, he does quite a lot of things. Plus, he's an actor and a vocalist as well. Best animated feature went to Encanto, which was, I thought, very deserving. I liked it. Luca was good too. I don't think Luca was quite as good as Encanto was. Flea, I have no idea what that is. The Mitchells versus the Machines, I have no idea what that is.
I heard that's good too.
Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yeah.
Do you know what is that about?
It's like, I may be wrong, but think of National Lampoon's Family Vacation, but animated and against robots.
That sounds dope.
Yeah.
I love Vacation, man. That's like one of my favorite franchises.
I would say it's similar.
Jay did. Why you got winner spelled? Why you got
Are you
winners spelled
serious? Do you?
wieners? Wieners.
Because he relies on Google so much,
You're
man.
so far. I don't know. Because I was trying to just get him pulled up real quick before
Bro,
we went
you
live.
realize that without autocorrect, we'd be the most illiterate fucking generation known to
I know,
man.
right? Yeah.
Like,
honestly, I think autocorrect is really annoying. Like I turn it off I have it on like the they have like sensitivities to it. Like I have it on like the lowest sensitivity because like I try to write the word well or something and it's like wiener or it's like whelp. I'm like, no, that's not what I want to write.
those are two polar opposites, my guy.
My
Two
Italian
different
comes out.
streets, my man.
I did not really like. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I wasn't super wild about Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya?
Raya.
Raya?
I thought it was Raya at first, but apparently it's Raya.
Oh yeah, no clue what that is
I
either.
It was okay. It wasn't. We usually like to watch the new Disney flicks that are out. That's my wife and I like to do that. We're Disney people. But yeah, it was okay. J-Dad said my OCD spotted that a mile away. I didn't even notice that. I had no idea. So if you wouldn't have pointed it out, I wouldn't have known. Best Director, Jane Campion won for The Power of the Dog. Also nominated was Kenneth Branagh. Buddy, I'm not even going to try. Much respect to you for driving my car, but I'm not going to even give it a shot because I don't want to do you the disrespect of saying it wrong. Steven Spielberg, I kind of thought Spielberg would get it for this one. I'm not going to lie, but it probably would have been his like 25th Oscar. So
I know,
so
right?
I mean, props to this lady for Jane Campion. I did not see Power of the Dog, but again, I heard it was great. And then Paul Thomas, I almost said Paul W.S. Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza as well. International feature film, definitely haven't seen any of these. Drive My Car, one. Flea, Lunanya? A Yak in the Classroom.
Sounds like a killer.
Interesting. The Hand of God and The Worst Person in the World. Best Supporting Actor, of course, went to Troy Kotsur for Coda. Huge congratulations to him in the deaf community for that. Cody Smith-McPhee, J.K. Simmons, again, fantastic actors. Syrian Hines, I believe is how you say it, and then Jesse Plemons for The Power of the Dog. Is it Kyrian? I'm not sure. I might have said it wrong. I used to say Cillian Murphy, and it's really Killian. Somebody destroyed us. Every once in a while, we get somebody who like
my name, son,
who just completely dogs Miguel and I in a chat for saying somebody's name wrong.
And it's fine. Like, it's a humbling experience, man.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm getting $100 worth in my therapy sessions for those comments.
I'll never forget the Texas Chainsaw guy. That was the funniest thing. I lost my mind reading that comment. I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying.
It was like our very first like negative comment.
It was so funny. Well, it was just the way they worded. Like it was like everything you did was wrong because you forgot his name for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't fucking care.
Whatever. Best Supporting Actress went to Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, who plays Anita. She did a fantastic job. I loved her performance. Kirsten Dunst for The Power of the Dog. Again, I don't listen. I kind of got a taste of the hate that Kirsten Dunst gets when No Way Home came out. I like Kirsten Dunst. I always have.
What hate happened with Kirsten?
I don't know. Everybody was like, Zendaya, great. Emma Stone, great. Kirsten Dunst. And I was
it wasn't Kirsten Dunst. It was the way fucking
it was MJ.
Mary Jane was written. That's
I remember
all.
you being like, she a hoe.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst, I'm sure you're a wonderful woman.
Not Mary Kirsten Jane Dunst. He's talking about Mary Jane
Sam
Watson.
Raimi's fucking
Spider-Man trilogy
movie. She a hoe. Like I'm gonna say that right now.
She was with like 5 guys over the course of those movies.
Bro, she was with an astronaut. Or a wannabe astronaut.
And she left him at their wedding. For Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Let's go through these again real quick. Best documentary went to Summer of Soul. Ascension, Writing with Fire, Flea and Attica. Live action short film went to The Long Goodbye. And then Alakachu, Take and Run, Please Hold on My Mind, The Dress were also nominated. Best original screenplay. I was actually rooting for Don't Look Up for this one. If you don't know what Don't Look Up is it stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, but it's also, it's got a ton of fantastic actors in it. But essentially, Jennifer Lawrence is a student of, was a student of Leo DiCaprio's. I don't remember exactly what she's studying or
A
what
bunch
they're
of
doing.
scientists find out that a
Something.
meteor is coming to destroy the
Yes.
Earth, and they're trying everything they can to warn the people.
It's a
but
comet.
Everyone is a fucking idiot, including the president. It's pretty much a satire.
It is.
What would
It's a
happen
huge.
if a world-ending event was to occur.
Like, everybody's too busy about like the latest celebrity affair to care that like they're all about to die in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
you know?
it's very much as a satire on society as a whole, and what would happen if the world was going to end at that time. So
yeah, and like Don't Look Up is like basically like to curb the media. The president starts this campaign of like, don't look up, because if you look up, people are going to see the meteor coming, so they don't want people to look up. They don't want. So it's an obvious play on like Trump and all of the crap that went on over the last 2 years. Like, it really is. I mean, I'm just gonna call it like it is. It is. Best adapted screenplay also went to Coda, which won best film. The Lost Daughter also nominated. Dune, Drive My Car, The Power of the Dog. A lot of the names we've already seen. Makeup and hairstyling went to The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Best visual effects, which Spider-Man No Way Home was nominated for. Also, Shang-Chi was nominated for that as well. I think it's cool that 2 Marvel films were nominated. Of course, that went to Dune. Also, Dune took Best Original Score by Hans Zimmer, which, again, I get it. I thought that was good.
I get it.
I do. I get it. I mean, Dune is very deserving of a lot of these awards. Also, Encanto and Don't Look Up were nominated for that category as well. Good Lord, there's a lot of these categories. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a couple hours fucking thing. Like, we don't have
to. Best short documentary, The Queen of Basketball. Best cinematography went to Dune. Best costume design went to Cruella, which Cruella was good. I did like Cruella. I thought that was a good movie. Best film editing went to Dune. Dune got production design. Best sound, man. I really thought that Dune was going to take like the cake on a lot of it because of how much it was winning. Like towards the beginning, but it's okay. So congrats to all of the films that won. J-Dead says, Don't Look Up, kind of like how we about to be in a new world war, but we're all talking about a spoiled celebrity snack. I don't know if we'll be in a world war, but whatever. I'm not going to go there. We're not talking about that. We're not doing that. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the slap heard around the world, as people are calling it. The moment that made the Oscars kind of crazy,
extremely cringe.
Yeah, and we're not going to break it down. Y'all know what happened. I'm sure you've seen the video at least 50 times by now.
No, but I remember Brad.
I
remember Brad told me like that night, and I wasn't watching the Oscars. Brad was watching the Oscars, and I was talking to my girlfriend at the time, and Brad just said, "Yo, look up Will Smith," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure he won like the Oscar. Like, good, like that's great, cool. I don't care right now." He said, "No, look it up. It ain't good." And I was like, "Okay, did he get mad that he lost the Oscar?" But no, I saw the video and I was like, "Dog, Will Smith lost his fucking shit."
Listen, I shut it off like 30 seconds before that happened. Like, I was like, I'm getting tired. I'm falling asleep. I got to go to bed. So I shut the TV off, walked, brushed my teeth, got in bed, looked at my phone, and it was like going crazy. And I saw the video and I was like, that's fake. I was like, that was a joke. That was a joke. And then I watched it again and I was like, Julia was asleep. And I said, hey, wake up. I woke her up and I said, watch this. And she was like, Brad, that's real. And I said, there's no way. I was like, there's no way Will Smith just walked up on stage and smacked him across the face like that. And it was like, okay, well, this is actually real. This really just happened. By the way, my mom put in the chat, since you mentioned Steven Spielberg, I looked it up. He's had 8 nominations, won 3, but he's had a nomination in consecutively over the last 6 decades for Best Director. That's wild. That speaks to a body.
That man has a seat reserved for him every single year.
That speaks to a body of work
probably
right
imprinted there. Has an imprint of his ass.
He carries it like from the Dolby Theater. He carries it around with him everywhere he goes. Like,
yeah, right.
What, right. Steven, what do you have? It's my Oscars seat. I just take it with me. No, but let me start off by saying I honestly felt like we're not going to sit here and talk about Jada and Will's marriage. That's not the point of this at all. I think a lot of the jokes that were made, not only by Chris Rock, but by Wanda Sykes and by Amy Schumer, and let me just precede this by saying I like Wanda Sykes, I like Chris Rock, I like Amy Schumer, but I thought a lot of the jokes were kind of off color. And even if you put that aside, there was a part of me that found myself in the first like 20 minutes of the Oscars actually saying to myself, like, I said, like, when are we going to start talking about movies? Because it was just like there was so much buildup and there was so much comedy. I was like, is this a comedy award show or is this a movie award show? Like I feel like they could take some of the time that they spend doing the comedy stuff and the buildup of the crowd and like focus on other films that weren't nominated for anything. You know what I mean? Like give spotlights to other movies and other categories. Like do a Marvel spotlight, do a DC spotlight, do whatever else. Like I don't understand why they push the comedy things so hard. You know what I mean?
Because the viewerships fucking suck, dude.
It seems so scripted.
So what you need to do, what they're trying to do is pretty much like make the Oscars somewhat relevant. And the way you do that is to be as fucking
by slapping people. I'm kidding.
No. Fuck, I don't know at this point. But it's to make it as like, I don't know what the word is. As like controversial as you can, or like just like push the boundary so that people are like, oh shit, someone really just said that on the Oscars. Like it's this grand theater, and these producers of the Oscars, they hire these comedians to just make it so that we all want to watch something funny. Pretty much, they know they're gonna have jokes and all that stuff, and it's like let me be honest. When I watched the Golden Globes for the past 6 years, you want a reason why I watch it? I watch it so I can watch Ricky Gervais fucking annihilate the entire fucking movie industry. It's brilliant.
It's what Jada just said. It's hard replacing Ricky Gervais. They tried too hard, TBH. But what
really though. But that's the whole point of it. It's like that's the reason why they hire these comedians for these types of events, is to make it funny. To bring normal people to watch these things, because nobody wants to watch all of these high-class A-list actors just sit here and talk about and thank their God and all this other stuff and just accept these awards. It's so shallow for us as the general audience to watch it. Like we'd much rather watch the movies than watch the awards for these movies. And it's for movies that we don't necessarily watch. If you were like that's a good movie point, lovers, man. You definitely have seen The Lost Daughter. You've definitely seen Spencer. But for people like us, which is like, I would say like 70-80% of the movie-going experiences, we watch all the mainstream movies. That's perfectly fine. I enjoy it. So when we find out that those mainstream movies are not like Oscar nominated, we don't care. We don't care about these movies.
I mean, a lot of them are indie movies. They're independent films that unless you go seek them out, they don't have a big theatrical run in big movie theater chains across the US and Canada and the globe. Like
very much so, yeah.
Unless you go seek them out on streaming platforms or like a digital copy or whatever else, like you're not going to find them. You know what I mean? They're not easily accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what they do is that they're trying to hire all of these A-B class comedians to go out there and just present the awards and make it funny. So that way the general audience like you and myself can watch it. So it's unlike for you, because I know you like to watch it to see who wins and who gets the most awards and all that stuff. And that's exciting. And that is exciting for some people. But for some people, what was it on? Was it on like a fucking Wednesday?
It was on a Sunday. It
was on a Sunday. Yeah, everyone's going to bed on a Sunday. Everyone's getting ready for
you got work Monday morning.
Yeah, you have work Monday at 8 o'clock, dog. Like you gotta go to bed. So that's the way it goes. People don't want to watch it. So
yeah,
what these studios do are trying to like hire these comedians. And honest to God, the cringy they are, the better. Because you know what? That's gonna beef up views.
Yeah, I mean,
and I agree with Tanya so much right now in this comment saying it's always been about a roast. And if I'm being honest, that's how it should be. if I'm being clean honest, that's the only thing that brings people like the general audience, like you and I, to watch these things. That's why we love watching Ricky Gervais roast all of these fuckwads for like 6+ years.
Well, and I do listen. I'm okay with it being a little bit of a roast, and like I love Wanda Sykes and Amy Schumer too, and I like it was just I don't know little things like them. You know, they called Jennifer Lawrence fat and kind of saying like they made a couple of things about Samuel, like just little things I noticed, and I was just like, why are we not talking about movies right now? Like, why are we? It was just it. I think part of it is like I think it drug on too long. Like especially at the beginning, I was like, okay, let's go. Like who's best supporting actress? Like let's go. Let's start talking about the movies. Let's like I want to see celebrities interacting and do it. You know what I mean? Like I want to see that part of it. I don't necessarily care. Like
Bro,
I can go like if I want to go I know it's I get it. I get what you're saying.
That is exactly what Ricky Gervais says when in the Golden Globes. He was like, bro, this thing could have been like, here you go, Netflix. You win all the awards. Take it. But no, they have to drag this on for 4 fucking hours just to like keep people watching a fucking television when you could just like show it off.
If you really look at like there because it's gotten to the point where like there's like the hype party before, but it's gotten to the point now where they're like there's a hype party for the hype party. Mm-hmm. And then there's the actual Oscars, and then there's the after party, and then there's the after. Like it's like 8 hours of TV if you really want to watch the whole. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. Part of it, like don't do all that. Like show them on the red carpet, and that's it.
Exactly.
Like we don't need like the whole hype train. Who's gonna win Best Supporting Actress?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Nobody.
I could fucking care less. Just tell us who the nominees are. Go through the ceremony. We'll take a couple jokes. I don't fucking care. I'll take a couple jokes. I love comedy, dog. Like, I love all of the comedians that are out there, no matter what class they're in. Like, they're all great and funny. But we gotta drag this on for 4 fucking hours.
Yeah.
What are we getting at here, guys? All we want to know is who won, and that's it.
I get it. J-Dad says they need to revamp award shows in general, like come up with something original and not this snobby shit we have now.
That's the word I'm thinking of. Just fucking snobby.
I agree with Tanya. I'm done with Will. What he did was such a bully move. Yeah, let's talk about it because at this point, I think there's wrong on all sides, and this is not a personal attack on Will Smith. This is not a personal attack on Academy, like at all. I love Will Smith. Like I'm gonna do it actually a different. I want to do some of the YouTube shorts because the dollar store has had some unbelievable finds that I've bought for like $6 at the dollar store, like steel books of movies, like just cool movies. But I actually just bought I Am Legend, like literally 2 days before. No, the morning before this happened, I bought a steel book of I Am Legend. Like I am a Will Smith fan. I would arguably put him in maybe my top 15 actors. Like I love him.
I love the fact how like after this event, everyone immediately said, "Yo, I loved them in I Am Legend. I loved them in I loved them in Focus. I loved them in I forgot what that movie is. I loved them in Hitch.
The Pursuit of Happiness.
I don't fucking care what movie you loved them in. The fact that he walked up stage and smacked the shit out of Chris Rock was by far not only an assault, it was also distasteful and also not part of what they do. If you want to consistently treat the Oscars as some like high class like need to watch or need to be area, that can't be allowed. And I'm sorry for that. And you know what's even more funny? It's the fact that the Academy accepted that actions or like they let that shit happen. And yet if you do that in a comedy show, if you do that at the Comedy Store, if you do that at the fucking at the Apollo, bro, expect to get shit whipped back, pulled away by security, and then thrown out on the streets. No offense, I'm not trying to say that needs to happen to Will Smith. What I'm saying is the Academy was so fucking like surprised that this could have happened, but it's like, bro, this shit happens like almost all the time in the Comedy Store. But they've taken so many precautions and whatnot, and people understand what happens at a comedy show.
Yeah.
So they know not to do that. When people heckle, who fucking cares? If the comedian's good enough, he will heckle back and actually spit back. But it's the fact that he walked up on stage and shit whipped the fuck out of him. And props to Chris Rock for keeping it steady. Because you know why? Because I'm sure he's been through plenty.
I got to hand it to Chris Rock. I don't know if myself or anybody. I don't know how anybody would have handled that better than he did.
No,
Like,
he had 3
if
moments
there
where he
was
could have
a
retaliated. I
if there
shit you
was a
not.
if there was a perfect way that you could have handled that situation, it was how he handled it. Like, he even looking at his body language, like, he knew something was wrong. Like, you could see it, and he was like, he kind of had the nervous laugh. He could see something was wrong, and he put his hands behind his back, like, I'm not going to be threatening. He was smiling, and he even leaned forward a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that
And
was.
like
I knew
he
he
was
knew
not going to go for it.
exactly. He kind of knew exactly what was going to happen. I'm sure as soon as he saw Will Smith's face walking up there, all readily pulling his pants up, Chris Rock knew exactly what was going to happen. Because you know
Right.
why? Because he's been a comedian for 30 fucking years, and I'm sure at some point of his life he's had someone run up to the stage and assault him. I'm sure he's known comedians has had to run up on the stage, have had people run up on him and try to, like, assault them at some point.
Well,
yes, that's happened for comedians. Listen to Kevin Hart's fucking stuff. He had a buffalo wing thrown at him in his eye. Like, bro, this shit happens all the time. The usual cliche that comedians have or performers have in general is what? They do a bad job on stage, and what do they get pelted with? Tomatoes. That's the usual trope. So performers understand that logic of, like, someone's willing to come up to them and, like, they're gonna accept repercussions.
Apparently, Chris Rock just got pelted with the palm of his hand because
exactly.
Like,
so like
here's my thing. I think there's wrong on all sides, and like, not equal wrong. I'm not saying it's equal. Like, at the end of the day, I think for Will Smith, he should not have done that. Like, end of story. Like, there is no scenario where I'd have been like, no, he could have went up and slapped him. Like, no, you
absolutely,
like, that needed to not happen. The joke was off color a little bit. I don't know if Chris Rock knew that Jada Pinkett Smith had a medical condition.
Sure, he did.
I think they said that he went off script for that. I don't know that for certain, but I believe that he went off script for that joke. Now, even the Academy after the award show put this whole statement on Twitter about they don't condone violence and blah 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 blah, and this violence is never okay. But like, there were even people in the comments posting pictures of Will Smith with his Oscar up in the air, and they were like, "Are you sure you don't condone violence? Because here's a picture of you condoning violence." Like, people were tearing the Academy apart on Twitter. And now, like, I feel like they're trying to cover their tracks. They're like, well, we tried to kick Will Smith out, but he wouldn't leave. And I was like, I don't buy that, because if you really wanted to kick Will Smith out of that show, the police would have drug him out of the Dolby Theater. Like, the LA police would have forcefully removed him, and you didn't do that. So, like, I don't buy that.
That would have escalated that would have created a whole other dilemma.
And there were a lot of people
that happen.
There were a lot of people that even said, why did they still let Will Smith go up and accept his award and give his whole speech about, and I listen, I'm not, who am I to say that Will's apology wasn't legit? I'm not here to say his apologies aren't legit, though, either, in his speech or the one on social media. Like, I'm not commenting on that. But I think there were a lot of people that were like, why did you let him go up and accept his award? And I think their excuse was they felt that there wasn't enough time to make up a decision before Best Actor came up. And I was like,
wait, how far was Best Documentary to?
I believe they still had about a half hour or so. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, again, I didn't watch the tail end of it, but like, I don't know. He should not have done that. Like, I completely disagree with him. Even listen, I think more people would have been like, no, Chris, that was a bad joke, man. Like, you shouldn't have said that. Listen, he could have done everything he did except for the slap. Even if he would have stood up out of his seat, or if he would have just sat there in his seat and went and just kind of shook his head and maybe reached over and grabbed Jada Pinkett Smith's hand and was like, it's okay. It's all right. Don't just ignored it and like didn't smile, just kind of looked away and showed his showed their dissatisfaction with that joke. Like, that would have been more effective than him going up and slapping him, because now that he slapped him and brought violence into it, nobody's on his side. You know what I mean? Like, he he made it worse. He actually had the opposite effect of what he was trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even if he would have stood up in his seat and been like, hey, don't you, or what did he say? Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Like, even if he would have just stood up and started yelling it, it would have been more meaningful. But it's like he had to pull that whole stunt, and the way he even kind of like smirked as he walked off stage, and he had his like,
it's like he felt good after doing it.
You know what I mean? It was very it was very strange. Like, and I don't understand. There was actually another today. Like, I actually saw it when I got home from work. There's a new video from behind. So like the state, like Chris Rock is here and Jada and Will are sitting here, and then it was from behind. I mean, I don't know who took the video. It was from the bottom level though. So I mean, it was somebody who had seats on the bottom level. So I mean, it had to have been another celebrity, you know what I mean? Or a family member or something like that. But there, from that perspective, it like Will goes up, he smacks him, he turns around, he walks away, and Jada's laughing. She's laughing like it's funny. And she, I forget exactly what point the video starts, but like when he's saying, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth, like she's smirking, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. So I don't, my question with it is, why did exactly, my mom just said he was totally laughing. What? I would love it. I wish the camera could have stayed on the two of them and not cut back to Chris Rock when he went, uh-oh, and he started laughing, because Will was laughing.
That was a pivotal change right there. That was a hard left that he took.
And it was also like maybe 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds at the most. Like, what changed from the point where he was laughing until the point where he was all like roaring angry and he went up to go slap him? Like, I don't understand like what transpired in those 2 or 3 seconds. So I don't know. He shouldn't have done that.
Nope.
100%. It was uncalled for.
And look, his written speech that he had, like his apologies that he had on social media, I didn't really like it all that much. But his acceptance speech when he was talking and when he was trying to justify what he did was absolutely ridiculous. How he compared King Richard, and I was like, bro, no. King Richard was someone who protected Serena and Venus, and literally took so much shit, but did not retaliate. And all he did was continue to take care of their kids so that they know how to act when people try to bring shame or jokes about you or try to like say malice things at you. Like, King Richard wasn't someone that was going to confront someone and attack them. That was absolutely ridiculous. The fact that Will Smith was trying to compare himself to King Richard for doing that. Like, that was fucking ridiculous. That was not what some King Richard would do. That was something Will Smith would have done. That was his actions and his action alone. He wasn't acting trying to be like someone else. That was Will Smith's actions right there, and Will Smith's actions alone.
I get it.
And people want to talk about like, and people want to bring up the conversation about like how, comedians need to find out. Comedians need to be restrained in what they need to say. Fuck you. The people that say that, fuck you. Because you know what? Guess what? You are a tyrant for you to dare say that comedians need to be restrained in what they say. That's not your position to, and that's not your power to do. Think about it back then in like medieval times, whenever they hired the jester to entertain the king and the queen. The jester is allowed to say whatever the fuck he can, just to entertain the king. But guess what? The second the king is offended and sentence the jester to die, guess what he becomes? He becomes a tyrant. And nobody likes a tyrant. It's as simple as that.
Don't you know that it's 2022 now, though?
Bro, I don't fucking care. This shit applies to this day. Yeah. People are continuously trying to tell them that they need to restrain these fucking comedians from saying what they got to say. Bro, it's what we pay them to do. It's the reason why we watch them. People tell me I've never been a Chris Rock fan. Really? Well, he's been doing this for 30 years. So obviously he has fans. He has hundreds of millions of dollars. Obviously people are paying him to watch his stuff. You just happen not to like his jokes. Simple as that.
I completely get it. I
this whole
completely
thing of like
understand
blaming
everything you're
Chris Rock
saying.
for saying what he said, bro, it was a fucking joke. Was it distasteful? Might have been, but guess how many people laughed in that fucking joke?
Yeah,
A
I
good number
know.
of people. There were people
I
that
get
said,
it.
oh, there are people that said that too. So it was a joke, simple as that. It landed with some people, and it didn't land with other people, and it definitely didn't land with Will Smith. So shit like that happens. And the whole logic, the whole law behind human nature is you must accept the consequences of whatever comes out of your tongue, of whatever you speak, of whatever you do. You're supposed to accept the consequences, whether positive or negative. You have to accept every single bit of the consequences that comes out of your tongue. That's something comedians understand to their core. That's why they're comedians, because they push the boundaries of what they can say. Guess what? Will Smith ain't gonna say that joke anymore. He's not. You know why? Because he understands that it wasn't a good joke.
You mean Chris Rock?
And he just Chris Rock. Chris Rock understands that what he said was not a good joke. So guess what? He's not going to say anymore. He's going to work better on what's next. And he took like probably the most roughest consequences you could take after telling the joke, which is getting smacked in the face.
Well, I don't think I don't think Chris Rock is to blame. Please don't anybody take that. Like, I don't think he's to blame.
Oh, I'm not saying you
now.
are. I'm just saying there's multiple perspectives that are being said right now. And my perspective right now in regards in defense of Chris Rock is precisely that. That was his job, to push the boundaries. That's the job the Academy gave him. They gave him that stage. They gave him that venue to say whatever he can say to bring in viewers, because guess what? The Academy is fucking boring. So what do? They bring in all of these A and B class comedians to beef up the viewers, because people love comedy. People love jokes. People love cringeworthy jokes.
People love Chris Rock. People love Amy Schumer. People love Wanda Sykes.
Just saying. People like seeing them over all of these other like indie films, because very few people watching these indie films. Not to disrespect indie films at all. Indie films are great. I know I have a couple of indie films that I absolutely
I wouldn't
love.
say not many people watch them, but I think mainstream
yes, mainstream audience don't particularly care for all these other like older indie films that are going to win these awards. So that's why they bring in these A and B class comedians to beef up the viewers.
I think the majority of people, if it's not in theaters or on Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, or any of the other like major streaming services, they don't see it. That it's not, and that's not to say that it's not. Honestly, there are some remarkable independent films out there, and I'm sure every one of those are spectacular that were nominated for awards, but it's just not on their radar. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not relevance. Not the right word. It's just not mainstream for them. You know?
Yes.
So I don't know. I think it's just a sad situation all around. It's just not. Nobody's really 100% in the right. Like
it's.
I don't think he should have done that. I think it would have been plenty effective enough if he would have stood up and just said, "Hey, don't talk about my wife. Like, leave her alone. Like, no matter what." If he would have just set up, people would have been like, "Holy shit!" Like, whoa, like he's being serious. You know what I mean? But it was just the minute that he slapped him, it was just like, what? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I hope.
Well, here,
whatever Will Smith is going through, man, I hope he gets it figured out. I mean,
well, here, let me ask you this: do you think it would be right for the Academy to take away Will's Oscar?
I don't know. I would have to think
they shouldn't. They shouldn't take his Oscar. They should not, because that's not I don't think it would be in the right to do it, because if you're going to take Will Smith's Oscar, guess how many trickle down things you're going to have to do. You're going to have to take a shit ton of people you're going to have to take away a lot of people's fucking Oscars. I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein. You definitely going to have to take his Oscar away. So keep that same momentum if you're going to take Will Smith. And what really pisses me off is the fact that so many people are upset with Will Smith. But you got to understand, these people are human beings just like you and me. their shit is still brown, their shit still smells, and it still comes out of their asshole. These are normal people. These are normal human beings with normal. These are absolutely normal human beings. It's just the fact that we as mainstream viewers have lifted them up at such a pedestal that they are continuously being pressured by just the general viewers. And I'm not saying it's our fault. I'm just saying it's the way this industry works, and it's putting so much pressure on these entertainers to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to present themselves in a certain way. It's pretty stressful. So, but then when someone, veers off the line of what we expect an A-list actor to do, they're immediately shunned from the herd. It's like, no, he's a human being just like me. If I was to be, this is how I feel. I know somewhere in my own nature, if I was insulted like that, I'd probably do that. I know for a fact I'd probably do some of that line. But I'm pretty sure I'm willing to restrain myself in that nature.
You do
Will
some
Smith,
of that line.
Oh my God, I'd do that way. I would smack someone who disrespected my wife or my girlfriend in that manner. I know that I could have done something like that, but
would you smack me across the face?
Bro, I swear to God, I'd do it for free. I'd do it right now if I was next to you.
You'll come over right now and just
But you get
and leave.
Get
walk in and leave.
Yeah, exactly. But hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. Done deal. But staying straight, we got to understand that Will Smith is just as a human being as we are.
I agree.
It's just the fact that they're put on such a pedestal that they're fucking stressed, dude.
Listen, here's part of where I come from with the whole joke thing, and I know the chat's moving, and we're gonna get there in a second. I think people need to, and I know it's hard. Like, I've met people that I've been like this with, like, and my hope is that, like, if we ever get to the point on this channel and on this show, like, where we can interview we're never gonna interview a Will Smith or a Denzel Washington or or a Tom Hanks. Like, we're never gonna interview somebody like that, as far as I know. But if we get the chance to interview some of these people and some of these higher, well-known actors and things like that, like, I think people need to escape this whole, like, treating celebrities and actors like they're demigods or something. Like, it's a human being. Like, you can talk to them like they're a normal person, and that doesn't mean don't respect them for what they've done and the work that they've done. Like, I mean, you should have an incredible amount of respect for these people, but, like, this whole, like, I don't know, like, letting them get away with whatever they want. I mean, even going back to the should they take away his Oscar? No. Now that I really think, I hadn't thought about it, but, like, no, because this happened after they knew they were going to award him Best Actor, and B, if you're going to take away his, you got to take away Kevin Spacey's.
Yep.
I mean, let's be real. There are a few people that I'd say, you got to take him away. I mean, I don't think listen, do I 100% disagree with what he did? 100%. He should not have done what he did. And as a big fan of Will Smith, I'm disappointed in him for what he did. But
it's the same way I'd be disappointed in you if out of nowhere you smack someone. I'd be disappointed at some degree if someone.
You would be.
Yeah, I'd be like, bro, why the fuck did you do that? You could I would. It's just here's my best way to say it. It's almost as if, like, the reason why this thing broke my heart so much was because it looked like as if two of my best friends just started swinging at each other. That's pretty much the whole way it goes out, because Will Smith and Chris Rock.
That was a terrible pour.
That was a terrible pour. Will Smith and Chris Rock are friends. They've been peers throughout the entire industry for over 30 years.
They've both been comedians. Will Smith was a comedian at one point,
Exactly. So we've grown up watching these two grow as in both of their professions, and it's almost as if you're chilling with your friends, and all of a sudden, two of your friends just start duking it out. It's like, why the fuck does that happen? What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
So it's really devastating. That's why it was so devastating for me to see it. But again, it's just the way people are. It's just the way humans are in general. Like,
Yeah.
everyone has a breaking point. Will Smith had a breaking point, and I pray to God. I pray for his, mental health, and I hope this doesn't happen, but I will not be surprised if we end up hearing a month from now that he goes into some sort of rehab, because that was the sign of someone who was definitely unhinged.
And this is probably one of the last things I'll say about it, because there are a couple of actual movie news stories that we want to get to too. I am a fan of Will Smith. Like I said at the very beginning of this is not. I don't want to comment on his marriage with Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't want to comment on that whole thing, because I know that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, if you want to, just go on social media and
who am I to exactly go get on Twitter and listen to the cesspool that is that. But I don't want this to be an attack on him. I love Will Smith. I don't think they should take away his Oscar, because at the end of the day, no matter what you thought about his apology, whether it was in his acceptance speech or his social media posts, no matter what you thought of him slapping Chris Rock, no matter what again, it was wrong. He should not have done that. I completely 100% on the same page. At the end of the day, Will Smith is still one of the most prolific actors of the last 40 years. Mm-hmm. He's still a spectacular actor. Mm-hmm. So I think it's one of those things you have to be able to separate the art from the artist. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Will Smith is a bad dude. I know there's stuff going on. I know there's some I get it, but like, and I'm not saying Jada Pinkett Smith is a terrible person either. I'm not saying that at all. I just, like you said, I hope he's okay. I hope that this was really just an emotional reaction to something. Who knows what's on his mind? Who knows what's on his heart? I hope that he's okay. I hope him and Chris Rock can get past this. I mean, I don't know how Chris Rock is feeling. I know he said that what did he say? He said something
he's still
like
processing this.
Yeah, he's still processing it, but he will have something to say eventually. I know he didn't press charges. Again, Chris, huge props to Chris Rock, because I don't know anybody that could have handled that situation better than he did.
Well, not pressing charges right now.
Not
Chris
being
Rock's
angry.
Ticket sales?
Oh yeah, dude.
Going through
even
the roof.
like Adam Sandler changed his profile picture to one of Chris Rock, and he like added his tour dates and stuff. I mean, like he's making bank off of it. Chris Rock is doing really well, and I'm happy for him for that. I mean, he deserves that, because that video is going to be there. No.
Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, that video is going to be out there forever. People are not going to forget this for the foreseeable future. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
bro. Chris Rock has
happy
got so much more fucking, what's it called? Ammo or fucking material for for like 2 or 3 more comedy tours. Because guess what? That's what comedians do. They take slaps in the face, both physically, emotionally, mentally, and metaphorically, and they make a comedy show out of it. That's the way it works for comedians, dog.
Yeah.
So
real quick, let's catch up on the chat before before we move on to our movie news. Let's see. Let me go back. My mom says that's why Billy Crystal hosted longer than any other host, because everyone loved him. He knew how to work the audience, and he did it by himself. That's true. Billy Crystal is
Billy
awesome,
Crystal
dude.
from When Harry Met Sally?
Yes. And he also Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
Billy Crystal's awesome,
Billy
man.
Crystal.
He's awesome. J-Dad, jokes are jokes. You can never put your hands on someone else for a joke, no matter how poor in taste it was. Completely agree. J-Dad also says, who's to blame? Will 85%, Academy 15%, Chris 0%. If you really want to break it down that way, I understand. Have you seen the other celebrities? Jim Carrey, especially Wanda Sykes on Ellen. She said she was disgusted with the Academy for not escorting him out. And why was he not played off with music? I noticed that too.
He kept going.
They didn't. All of the other ones, which they do that, like she says, they rudely like cut them out. He he kept going. I mean, his speech was 2 or 3 minutes long.
Because people wanted to hear what the fuck happened, dog.
Which I mean, I kind of did too. I mean, I was sitting there watching, and I thought, wow, this is long. You know,
the
usually
producer,
they're like,
the producer was probably like, the producer was like, bro, keep this shit going. Keep it. Wait, but sir, it's like 2 minutes though. He says, keep this shit going. He'll say something. He'll say something about it. Pan to his left side. Where's Chris Rock? Find him. Pan it to him right now. Like, bro, again, viewers.
Yeah.
You think the views
that's
went
why,
down?
That's why
that
I'm telling you. That's why I think they're probably gonna have more viewers next year.
100%. You think the viewers went down after that snap? No, it fucking skyrocketed because people wanted to see. That's the way it is, dog. It's all about how many people are willing to tune in to watch whatever the fuck it is they're trying to put on the fucking TV. That's the way it is, dog.
I'll tell you what, Jay did. Awesome comment, man. If Will wanted to make a statement, he should have got up, took Jada's hand, and walked out. This whole story would be different today if he had handled it with class. That may be the most real statement I've heard anybody say about this whole thing.
No, the most realist would have been was the fact that like this. I told you this. I said honestly, man, this would have blown over the Academy. But let me tell you this: after you told me that, in my head I was thinking, if Chris Rock told that joke and Will Smith didn't like it, I could have went to bed, woke up the next day, and found out on the news that Will Smith kicked Chris Rock's ass in the after party. Yeah. I would have been like, I could see that. That's the way.
You let it just go.
Yeah, because that's usually what would happen. Like as a comedian, you gotta understand, like, bro, if you insult someone, you know you're gonna get checked. So yeah. It's just the fact that you did it live on TV in front of a giant audience and all that shit.
J-Dad said, wait, Miguel! Your shit's brown.
You understand what I mean. You understand what I mean, dog.
Joe Mama said his is blue.
Well, Joe Mama needs to get that shit checked out, dog, because it's just weird.
J-Dad, Will needs to go find Jazzy Jeff and put out a new diss album calling everybody.
Oh my God.
All right, let's move on. All right, so that's our thoughts on the Will Smith, Chris Rock Oscars thing. Let's move into the horror realm to start off our movie news. We're about an hour and 3 minutes in. If you're watching
that was all about
on, that was all. Well, not all of it. That was about a half hour or so. If you are watching right now with us, be sure to leave this stream a like. If you're listening on Spotify or any of the other podcast platforms, you can find us on YouTube in video form, and you can leave this a like as well. Or tweet at us at We Talk the Movies. We always want to hear what you think. So let's go over to the horror realm here. There is an It prequel series coming, and it is in development at HBO Max. This is coming to us from Bloody Disgusting. That beautiful picture of Pennywise the Clown.
Bro, that scene right there is pretty fucking
gorgeous
rough.
Smile. It was pretty rough.
That scene was pretty rough.
After two movies that collectively pulled in over $1 billion at the box office, it looks like Pennywise is headed back to the small screen with a brand new prequel series project. Over at the Ankler today, entertainment reporter Jeff Snyder broke the massive news that a series tentatively titled Welcome to Derry is in development at HBO Max. Snyder notes, or is it Snyder? Yeah, Snyder notes the series would likely explore the origin story of Pennywise the Clown, as well as the dawn of the 27-year curse that haunts the small Maine town. The report goes on to state that while the project hasn't been officially greenlit, Snyder's sources are telling him that a writer's room is has been convened for the project. Variety adds some info on their own. The series will begin in the 1960s, in the time leading up to the events of It Part 1, the 2017 film based on the Stephen King horror novel. The story is said to include the origin story of Pennywise the Clown. Variety also notes that Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti are back on board to produce the series. So, and then we kind of go on, obviously, published in 1996, Stephen King's massive novel, yada, yada, yada. The tale centers on the town of Derry, Maine, where a group of friends called the Losers Club battle Pennywise the Killer Clown, first as kids and then 27 years later as adults. Welcome to Derry would be the first time any adaptation has expanded beyond the confines of King's classic novel, which is pretty exciting for fans of the horror tale, which I think is pretty cool. Hello. I love you. Hello. His face kills me. Which I think is cool. I think that's pretty cool that you want to go outside of the confines of the original story. But at the same time, what makes it scary is you're going outside the confines of the original story. You know what I mean? So it's almost when you start getting into, oh, we're going to give Pennywise a backstory. It's like, but does Pennywise need a backstory? He's a spider that's dressed up as a clown. Like,
no, I think he does have a backstory. Because if I think I may be wrong. If you guys want to correct me on this, you can. But I'm pretty sure, like, if you think of like all of the Stephen King like novels, bro, it's an entire universe, and it all traces back to like the Dark Tower. If I'm not mistaken, because I've been trying to like look up on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories about that.
Huge lore that's going on, like in like some other dimension that's like affecting just the natural world, and that story is so like under the table over all of the other Stephen King movies, and novels. So like, it's really interesting to go beyond like the original like books that Stephen King wrote about all these other stories, and going under where it's like where all of this is apparently taking place. Like I can't really go into detail as to what this is all about, but I've heard, and I think I'm correct in this, is that Stephen King's like universe and the whole Stephen King verse is so dense, so deep, and so very interconnected that they honestly have plenty to go with in regards to like creating a small screen adaptation of like his past. I'd be interested if they try to use like the Dark Tower shit to like talk about Pennywise's fucking origin story. Cool. I take that.
I feel like, honestly, he's actually brilliant. Like the depth of the things that I don't know. I should have said that the way that makes it sound like I'm shocked that he is. No, I mean he is brilliant. Like I feel like the amount of ideas. Like I remember I was listening to a podcast or reading something, and he said like his inspiration for Pennywise when he was writing it, like he was trying to think, what are the two things that the majority of people are the most afraid of? Spiders and clowns. So he was like, it would be terrifying to write a story about a spider, a giant spider that disguises himself as a clown. Like, like, duh, you know what I mean? And when you think about it that way, it's like, of course, like, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested. I would be down to see. I think they're going to have to probably go some kind, like talking about the curse of Derry and all that stuff. Like, it's going to have to be like a supernatural spin on it. You know what I mean?
Bro, it's supernatural already.
No, but I mean, like you know what I'm saying though. It would have to be like a super gothic, supernatural, like I feel like it's going to be, it's going to have to go out in left field a little bit, but that's okay.
Like Cult of Thorns? No, I'm kidding.
Well, a little bit. It's going to have to kind of cross into that strange, like, let's get weird with each other territory. Like, it's going to happen in order to make sense, but that's okay. That kind of story, I think it's okay to cross into that territory. When we start trying to explain Michael Myers with, you know what I mean? With
when you try to explain a human being,
and it's like, okay.
Like with like Pennywise and the spider of Pennywise, like
he's a creature already. Yeah, he's a creature. It's already supernatural.
We've already gone left field, so it makes sense.
Yeah, Jaded, it could be really good. The only thing that would be missing is King's writing. That worries me. Who will be scripting it? Yeah,
I could see that. But I'm pretty sure
Stephen King has never been too thrilled with his film adaptations.
He hasn't?
No. No. What were you going to say?
I was going to ask if Stephen King was still alive.
Yeah, he's not. Bro, he's a savage. Follow Stephen King on Twitter. Listen, if you're of certain political areas, you won't like it. But, dude, he is a savage on Twitter. He destroys people. I love, like, he's like one of my favorite Twitter follows because he is awesome, and he's one of those people that tweets constantly. So it's like you're always got like something juicy to read when Stephen King is on Twitter.
King,
Tweeter. He's on Twitter.
Stephen King looks like a fucking villain in a Stephen King novel.
I got to give myself. He looks like a villain.
He looks like a villain in the Stephen King novel. That's all I can say.
I love his stuff, man. Dude, we got to do a purely. See, listen, I was talking to him yesterday. There are endless purely and simply evil seasons we could do. Like, we could do a Stephen King season. A whole season of just Stephen King stuff. Do It, do Misery, do Pet Sematary, do The Shining. Like, dude, he hates Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. He hates it. Like, loathes Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's fucking hilarious, dog.
That is pretty funny. I wonder if he likes Misery. I love Misery, dude. Misery, dude. Listen, there's not many.
Why does he allow these adaptations to happen then? I guess so.
Because they're gonna pay him that money. Dude, listen, I can handle a lot, like horror, blood, gore, guts, gross wise.
No, you can't. You can't even. You couldn't watch Jigsaw.
Listen, the cobbling scene though in Misery, when she's like,
when he's like. Yeah.
Well, when James Caan,
it's just the fact that you're helpless.
Like, no, he's like, "What are you doing?"
You
no,
helpless.
It's not even that. But like, she hits his ankle bones with a sledgehammer, bro. Like Kathy Bates literally straps him down and hits his ankles. Like his feet are straight out, and they go. Whew, and then she walks over to the other one as he's in agonizing pain and goes. Whew, and it's like, oh, holy crap. It's like, stop. It's awful. It's one of the worst. Oh, it gives me the heebies. I don't like that.
I found this, and I hope you guys can see it. This is the Stephen King universe. Like, look how absolutely expansive that is.
Wow.
And look, you see Pennywise on the side right there. Yeah, this is how big the Stephen King universe is. And you could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Will Stephen King like it? Probably the fuck not, apparently. But it's so much material you can do. So I'm not concerned at all with them doing a backstory. I agree with J-Dad in regards to it not being written by Stephen King. Maybe they reach out to Stephen King and they're like, "Hey, dog, like I know you hate some of our movies, but would you like to help us with this script?"
Well, I don't know if he hates it. I'll tell you what, dude. I listen. I like. This might be blasphemy, and I understand if horror fans are gonna rip me apart in the comments. And my wife loves The Shining. But The Shining is one of the movies that we have to watch once a year with her. But I'm not super big on most Stephen King film adaptations. I like Misery. I like The Shining. I like Pet Sematary. I actually like the remake of Pet Sematary better than the original. Again, blasphemy. But Dr. Sleep is legit one of the greatest epic horror films I've ever seen. It's amazing. Like, I adored Dr. Sleep. I thought it was spectacular. Really, really well done. Well, like, Miguel, we are definitely going to have to Purely and Simply Evil on The Shining and on Dr. Sleep. Because it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor plays Danny in that film, and they almost kind of treat it like, like he's controlled his shine, like he doesn't. It's not like he's not afraid of it. You know what I mean? Like,
isn't it like a succubus kind of a thing?
Well, it's strange, but like because it's a sequel to The Shining, like essentially, Danny's grown, but he's an alcoholic, and he's
I'd be an alcoholic too if I went through that shit.
He's an alcoholic. He's sleeping with women and stealing their money before he leaves in the morning. He's
Ian
rough.
McGregor.
He's
Obi-Wan.
Rough,
what the
man.
fuck, dog?
He's rough, and he essentially finds this little girl who also shines, but there's this group of vampires who they live off of stealing little kids' shines. Yeah, and because he even says at the beginning,
a illusion of today's Hollywood society. I don't know what it is.
Like he says at the beginning, everybody shines whether they know it or not, like a little bit. But some people it's stronger than others. You know what I mean? And like he's working in
such a cringe line.
Well, okay, he doesn't. Ewan McGregor delivers it better than that.
A little bit,
but like
he's
talking to Tony, or I forget the guy's name. But like he gets the name Dr. Sleep because he gets his life together. He's in AA and he's doing whatever, and he is in an old folks home, and he can tell because he has this ability. He can tell when they're gonna die, and he sits with them and like eases them into death. And that's where he gets Dr. Sleep. They call him Dr. Sleep. And eventually, like, it ends up, they're back at the Overlook. And he's trying to protect this little girl who also shines. But, like, the vampire walks in the lobby. And Danny is standing at the top of the stairs with the axe. Like in the Overlook where his dad stood with the axe when he tried to kill him. Like, it's just cool, man. And like Danny fights the vampire, and like it's really cool, man. It was an awesome movie. I actually I lent it to my dad a while ago, and I was like, you need to watch this movie. So but yeah, man, it's great. So super stoked. I'm doped.
Doped? You're doped up?
I'm stoked. That was the word I was going for. To see what they do with this It prequel series. J-Dead, King's literally created a parallel universe to ours. None of his stories actually take place here. They take place in a mirror version of ourselves. That's interesting. You guys,
yeah, like it was really complicated.
It is. It's very over. Like a lot of stuff is over your head. You know what I mean? You guys should watch Desperation and Storm of the Century. Both are TV miniseries mad from King novels. Very underrated. 2 of my top 5 King movies. Yeah, we'll have to check those out, man. Maybe in our Stephen King season.
Probably, dog.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's switch gears. We're going to go from the horror universe all the way over to the Marvel universe. We're going to head over to geekosity.com, Mikey Sutton's Geekosity. Andrew Garfield to fight Venom and the Amazing Spider-Man 3. If you don't want spoilers, go ahead and hop off because this is a spoiler story. But at this point, it's like Andrew Garfield's back. It's common knowledge. It's common knowledge that Sony and Disney are doing this whole multiverse thing with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, with Spider-Man No Way Home, with this multiverse saga. Like, it's very, like, come on. It's obvious that, like that we're doing this here. So Andrew Garfield is to fight Venom, or could return to fight Venom in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Andrew Garfield had the most abrupt end among the 3 Spider-Men. To Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy's death had an intense impact for him. We never really see how he copes up with that event. We do see him in Tom Holland's Spider-Man No Way Home, but based on what we hear from the character, he's just going through with it. He doesn't really have his version of MJ. And of course, we all know how MJ dies splat on the ground. By the way, this is just a shameless plug because I saw Zendaya. Dude, we started watching Euphoria on HBO Max. I have slept on that series for way too long. Euphoria is magnificent, dude. You definitely need to watch Euphoria.
I've been told to watch it.
It's really good. Although you got to be prepared because the episodes are legit like an hour and 5 minutes long. Like, they're long episodes, but they're really good. Like, it's heavy, but it's good. It's really,
it's like
really
a good version of 13 Reasons Why, I'm sure.
Pretty much, but it's really good storytelling. So kind of goes through a lot of these articles are a little bit longer. Now, Sony has heard that people do still want to see Andrew Garfield, and people do wonder if he'll ever get to meet his MJ. Here we are for the main event, Venom. Our trusted insiders have been telling us that Venom is going to appear in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. This is big. Remember that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man wasn't able to fight any aliens, which he was disappointed about, and it looks like he might get his chance. Sony
that was such a small, like, fucking quote, but like it was pretty much like both Sony and Marvel be like, bro, we got it. We got a movie.
Yeah. Sony is planning to make a film where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man will fight Tom Hardy's Venom. For now, this is in the very early stages of planning. In other words, a lot of the details are still up in the air. As of this time, it's not yet decided if they will make the movie The Amazing Spider-Man 3 or a Venom sequel. One thing is for sure, Sony wants them to meet. Sony wants to show that Venom is an anti-hero. In other words, he will be the villain of the film. Eddie Brock is not a hero by choice, but a hero because of certain situations. Remember that Venom can fully control Eddie Brock if he needs it to happen, which is something that even I forget from time to time. Like, that is an important reminder. So there may be a point where Venom can just be a full-on villain, which is why Sony is leaning towards making The Amazing Spider-Man 3. But as I mentioned earlier, it's not final. Sony wants a Spider-Man in their universe that doesn't interfere with the MCU, and Sony understands that there is a good fan base for Andrew Garfield to return as the web slinger. But since this is not part of the MCU, Marvel Studios is not involved at this time. But that can still change, though. It depends on Marvel Studios if they want to bring the characters into the MCU on some events. We always have to keep in mind that the multiverse is already unlocked, so anything can happen. MCU characters can go to Sony's Spider-Verse and vice versa. Evidence is already in Michael Keaton's Vulture being part of Jared Leto's Morpheus. For the most part, Marvel Studios won't be involved as of now outside of Holland's appearances. But now that the multiverse is open, the audiences can easily accept that multiple Spider-Men do exist in different universes. Let's see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man get a chance to fight an alien so he won't feel so lame. After all, he's amazing. So, there you have it. So Sony's really wanting to push Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. And you have to remember, Mikey Sutton is great. Geekosity is great. There are certain outlets in kind of our entertainment culture that they do have industry insider sources and they are telling them things. And I have found Geekosity to be an extremely reliable source. So, Miguel, what are your thoughts? They're really wanting to push the Andrew Garfield thing with Sony's universe.
I agree with that. Because the way they ended No Way Home was slightly disappointed, but also it helped the fact that, like, oh, that means we're gonna, because the way they like presented, like, they ended like Tobey Maguire. I'm not gonna lie, they really treated Tobey Maguire just like an ending thing, like an epilogue story in regards to Tobey Maguire's. Andrew Garfield, it was like, bro, there's still hope for this man. Yeah. Like, that's what the whole story was. The fact that he saved MJ, and how he said, right, I lost my type of MJ, but like, yeah, he hasn't found a relationship like MJ. Like, that's the next story to go through. And it's important for us to it's important to us as mainstream viewers, because we want to see what the story continues to unfold after the events of Amazing Spider-Man 2. And hey, if they want to include Venom, by all means. That would probably be a better face-off than Tom Holland and Venom, or
I agree,
Maguire and Venom. Yeah. Like,
I see Venom fighting his Spider-Man more than any of the other two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, 100%. And I don't know. I see J-Dead in the comments said if they're making this, then they need to make Toby Spidey versus Carnage, and that's true. Like, I think kind of what I'm understanding is, like, you know, and you did. I agree with you. It felt like an epilogue to Toby's trilogy, but like, there's still a lot of rumors that they want to use Toby and that Toby's not going anywhere.
I know,
which I'm fine with. You know what I mean? I know you're kind of like, leave Toby alone, like he had his time, but I mean, are you okay with them bringing Toby back still?
Hey, dog, Toby's in the screen. I'll watch it still.
I know, like,
I just don't think it would serve the story, but I'll still watch it and I'll still enjoy it.
I think if we're moving towards Secret Wars, though, I think Toby's going to end up being one of the seasoned Marvel characters. You know what I mean? Like, they're just going to use Tobey Maguire to be, you know, he like, I would love it if we did a Toby versus Carnage movie. That would be sick.
That would be rad.
That would be freaking sick.
It would be Carnage. Woody Harrelson again?
No. Actually do Carnage right. Have Sam Raimi do Carnage. Like
Play as
Sam,
Carnage?
No, bring.
Oh, okay. I was like,
no, like bring Sam Raimi back to do a Spider-Man 4 and have Carnage in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Because we see
Like,
how we see how like evil or zombie Doctor Strange is gonna look in this multiverse of madness.
yeah.
Bro, it looks sick, dog. So I'd be
Well,
excited to
and
see Carnage
Toby's
as it.
rumored to appear in Multiverse of Madness. He's
I
one of
picked
the
that
more
too.
rumored to appear people. Like, so I'm in terms of who would fight Tom Hardy's Venom. I'm definitely okay with, you know, with it being Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I think there is an opportunity when because I think at this point it'd be silly to say that the 3 Spider-Men are not going to meet up again at some point. I think it's pretty obvious that that's going to happen. When and how and where, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think anybody is at this point, but I think there's an opportunity there that maybe the next time the 3 Spider-Men meet up, Venom tags along. Tom Hardy's Venom tags along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. The question is, how are they going to do Venom in the MCU? You know what I mean? Like how?
We just got to be patient, dog.
I know, and I'm not saying I want it yet. I don't want it yet, but I do like Tom Hardy's Venom. You know, I think the movies haven't been spectacular, but I like his portrayal, and I like the this kind of funny dynamic that he and the symbiote have.
His quips, dog. I'm talking about Andrew Garfield. Like Andrew Garfield's quips and like him just being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It surpasses like all of the Spider-Mans we've had.
I love it in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Paul Giamatti's driving the truck, like before he has like the full rhino costume.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's driving the truck and he gets on the window and he's like, and he knocks on the window. He's like, "Hello, you can call me Spider-Man, you can call me Webhead. I don't care what you call me, but would you mind pulling the truck over?" Like, like he's just being like sarcastic, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm down for this, man. I am 100% down to see him fight Venom. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather it happen in The Amazing Spider-Man 3 or in Venom 3?
Amazing Spider-Man 3.
I would choose the same thing. I think Venom
Let
There Be Carnage was a little bit of a letdown.
Let it be a third Venom movie. Don't know fucking how. And then after credit with Venom and Eddie Brock seeing Andrew Garfield, and then they know each other.
That's fair.
And then you have Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, so do Venom 3 and then do Spider-Man 3. That's fair. I get that. I get it. Andy Phantom, what's going on, man? He says, "What's up, homies?"
Bro, you missed a lot.
You did. He says, "Will Smith gonna fight Venom?"
Bro,
That's pretty good.
Actually, I think you know what? Now that I think about it, I think Venom has a hold on Will Smith. That was Venom be like, slap him. Just saying.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Oh man. So yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts on Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man fighting Venom. Again, Geekosity is a very trusted industry insider source in the kind of this entertainment Twitter world we're living in. Now, Miguel, this last story of the night. Indy Phantom, no, we are not talking about Morbius, actually. We are
not yet.
We haven't seen Morbius, but we were just talking earlier about the reviews just sound god awful. I mean, people are tearing it. There was there was a meme that I saw on I forget. There was a meme I saw on Instagram today, and it was like, y'all need to be careful out there. I had 2 Morbius tickets in my car and somebody broke in. They left me 2 more. I just thought that was funny. I was like, man, people are dogging on it. Like, it's really bad. So I don't know.
Look, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be another. It's just going to be another. It's just going to be another Venom movie where it's like either you love it or you hate it. I'm sure some people are going to like it. Some people are going to fucking despise it. So it's just a matter of which one you want.
Well, from what I understand, it's
a coin toss.
It's so lukewarm that it's just like it's just not, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I thought the trailers looked good, even though we've gotten like 19 different trailers for it, but Okay. Speaking of being disappointed in a movie, Miguel,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what to expect from this one. And I'm very curious to see your thoughts. And I purposely haven't talked to you about this one yet because we used to cover Godzilla versus Kong quite a bit. And we cover the Monsterverse quite a bit because, as you all know, I'm a big King Kong fan. Miguel is a big Godzilla fan. And I saw this story on Screen Rant. Godzilla vs. Kong sequel working title reportedly revealed as Son of Kong.
So they are going to do it.
The Godzilla versus Kong sequel reportedly has a working title, Son of Kong, and it hints at the direction that this MonsterVerse movie will take. Now, we kind of discussed this a while ago. Like, there was a leak and a bunch of rumors about a Son of Kong story that Adam Wingard was very interested in doing. But our take on it was like, why would you do that? Like, are you really going to introduce another massive gorilla when Kong has only had 2 movies, Godzilla's only had 3 movies? Like, why would you throw another Kong into the mix at this point? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm kind of curious to see your thoughts, Miguel, because if this is really a sequel to Godzilla versus Kong, not only is this a movie about King Kong's child, but you also have to have Godzilla in this story somehow. So I'm kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm a little
Why
confused.
are they fighting
so yeah, like, why? Like, I don't like what's gonna happen. So
maybe this isn't necessarily about King Kong's son. Maybe it's about this Kong in particular and learning about his history and inside in the world, in that world. Because you saw that obviously it's a civilization. You know what I mean?
I'll drink to that.
It's
now,
obviously a civilization down there, and obviously they've fought Kongs, and obviously he has a kingdom in there, and what's it called? A chair, a throne.
Oh yeah, a throne.
There was a throne for him.
Actually, that's very interesting because the big rumor is that they're really going to explore Hollow Earth. Like, Hollow Earth is going to be the main playing field in this film.
So who knows? Maybe this is just a play on like it being Kong having another son. But again, there's no other fucking he can't produce a child because it's a dude. So like where are we going with that?
Indie Phantom, yes, there is an older flick called Son of Kong. It's actually a sequel to let me think. Is it a sequel to King Kong Lives? It's been a while since I watched the originals. But there is a sequel, and that original is about King Kong's child. Like, he ended up finding a mate, and he has a child that's like a 16-foot, like a 14, 15, 16-foot version of the big Kong. You know what I mean? So there actually is another film. So let's read this article.
Exactly.
Man.
So why would we want to watch that again? Because we already got adolescent Kong.
Yeah.
In Kong Skull Island. He was an adolescent in that movie. So why would we need to see that all over again? It makes no particular sense.
Yeah. So this article, it has been reported that the working title for the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong will be Son of Kong. In 2014, Warner Brothers decided to make a Godzilla film for the first time since the massive failure that was the TriStar Pictures Godzilla over 15 years earlier. We're still dying to do a commentary on that film. The 2014 Godzilla grossed over $500 million worldwide and was considered a massive success, unlike the earlier iteration. They really like to dog on that 98 film, man. They really do.
Because it's sad.
This led Warner Brothers. Listen, I'm going to tell you, though, it's a great monster movie. It's a terrible Godzilla movie.
There you go.
This led Warner Brothers to make Kong Skull Island a sequel to Godzilla, which would be the beginnings of a new cinematic universe called the Monsterverse. The series of films accrued a massive fan base that wanted nothing more than to see the two meet in a feature film. And we know this because they even flat out said that the entire point of doing that original Godzilla film was because Warner Brothers knew that they wanted to pit Kong and Godzilla up against each other. Which makes sense. I mean, that's two of the biggest IPs in cinema history. So, like, duh. I mean, you're going to make bank off of that. In 2021, fans received the ultimate kaiju battle they had been begging for in the film Godzilla vs. Kong. The film saw Godzilla and Kong battle for dominance as scientists tried to find ways to stop the two alphas from killing each other. Yada, yada, yada. We know how that worked. However, in the film's climax, Godzilla and Kong must stop Mechagodzilla by working together before it kills the both of them. The film would end with Kong heading back to be the alpha of the Hollow Earth, while Godzilla stays on the surface and retains his title of King of the Monsters. With no post-credit scene or cliffhangers in the film, it was unclear if this would be the franchise's final installment, or if there were more films in the works for the MonsterVerse. As reported by Production Weekly via the Kaiju News outlet, a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong is in the works with the working title Son of Kong. While this film is being billed as a sequel, there is no word on whether or not Godzilla and Kong will be exchanging blows once more, or if it's set to focus specifically on Kong and the Hollow Earth. Production Weekly also reports that Adam Wingard may be returning to direct, but his participation in other projects still leaves that unclear. This is an official tweet. If you're watching with us on YouTube, you can see the Kaiju News outlet Twitter. Adam Wingard will reportedly be returning to direct the new MonsterVerse film that is currently titled Godzilla. What? I hate myself. Son of Kong. I can't read, according to Production Weekly. With the working title Son of Kong, there is plenty of speculation as to what the sequel will be about. It's unlikely that the film will follow the plot of the 1933 film of the same name because it's very similar to the events of Kong Skull Island, featuring Kong's son protecting a group of people from dinosaurs on Skull Island. Additionally, the events... What? Exactly.
I said
what?
Exactly. It makes no sense for it to be just a complete rehash.
Like a remake of the 1933 Son of Kong?
No. But it's the fact that that plot synopsis right there, that small little synopsis, is the same as Kong Skull Island, the first introduction. It's the same thing. You don't want to rehash that out again.
Yeah. Additionally, the events of the original Son of Kong take place after the death of King Kong, following his attack on New York, which hasn't yet occurred in the MonsterVerse. The only aspect of this film that may be used is having Kong's son be a smaller albino ape in order to not make any drastic changes to the character, but nothing is concrete at this time. The fact that Son of Kong will likely take place on Hollow Earth is where all the room for speculation stems from. Wingard himself has stated that he feels there is a lot more that can be done with the Hollow Earth, as it is revealed to be the origin of all Titans. That means we might very well see Kong team up with his son in a Godzilla vs. Kong sequel. I don't like that at all. To fight a brand new Titan who resides in Hollow Earth. While everything about this Godzilla vs. Kong sequel is still speculation and that Son of Kong is only the working title, it's exciting to know the MonsterVerse will be returning shortly and will probably feature King Kong's son.
It's not exciting. Fuck off.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I'm really not that excited for that. Like, if they're really going to do a team up between King Kong and his son, like, you're going to tell me he didn't know he had a son? Like, really? Really? What? Like, that just, it doesn't, unless, like you said, I do like the angle where you're like, this is the son of King Kong, you know what I mean? Of King Kong of Hollow Earth. Like, that's pretty cool. I dig that. I don't know. I
like that idea better.
It's okay.
Adam Wingard hit me up.
I was already kind of weird about the whole Godzilla's the god of the earth and Kong is the god of Hollow Earth, but like I don't know, because I don't even really dig that, you know what I mean? But it seems kind of outlandish to me, like kind of wild and crazy, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I would, like I said, I would be okay if, like you said, if this is the son we're talking about, and this. Maybe this is the story, which, I mean, it could be a rights issue. Maybe this is the story that deems him King Kong. You know what I mean? We're still waiting on that. We've still never heard him. There was the cheap line where they were like, Kong is king, or whatever they said in Godzilla versus Kong. But like,
oh my god,
I feel like it's a rights thing, because why wouldn't they call him King Kong? You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, that's his name. Like, why would you only call him Kong? So
I think this would be
I'm not
I
sure.
think this will be the movie where he is officially established as King Kong, because
Yeah.
I really fucking hope that this is just a story about how this Kong is the son of the of King Kong and Hollow Earth.
Of King Kong.
Yeah, of King Kong.
Of
Not
Super
the
King
king,
Kong.
the King Kong. Yeah. So I hope this is just about him accepting his place and Hollow Earth, accepting his throne in Hollow Earth, because that's where we're going.
Do you think Godzilla should have a part in this story at all, or this should really just be about Kong?
This is just be about Kong. I swear to God, if you put my boy G in this thing, I swear to God, that movie is going to be over in seconds.
Bro, it's like Kong is doing his thing. Kong's fighting Titans down there, whatever, and he's being a badass. And G just sticks his head down. He's like, hey.
Keep it down there.
I just want... He's like, I just want to make sure y'all are keeping it real down here. And I got to go back up here. Be good.
Yep.
He just like lifts his head back up, you know?
Pretty much.
I don't know, man. Indie Phantom. Now, I'm not sure that they ever called him King Kong in any film. They do call him King Kong in the others, but in this, because I believe, Miguel, you might know this better than me. I think, is it Warner Brothers? Yes. Warner Brothers is only, I don't believe they actually own the rights to King Kong. I think Universal still owns, I don't know. It's weird. Kong and Godzilla are both strange because they've been lent. Like, Toho owned them both at some point, but then Toho sold Kong to Universal, which is how Peter Jackson's film came about. But somehow Warner Brothers also has right. Like, I don't know how the rights breakdown is, but we can confirm, like, in this current Monsterverse, they have never referred to him as King Kong.
Warner Bros. Owns King Kong.
Okay, so they actually own him. Does Warner Brothers own Godzilla? Or does Toho still own Godzilla?
Toho still owns Godzilla.
Okay, so what is Toho just lending them rights to it to do these
I
films?
think so.
Because, I mean, I assume Toho is making bank off of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What studio was it? Warner Brothers that made the 1998, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla?
So hold on. Toho is the owner of the Godzilla character and has licensed the rights to Legendary for this series as a natural byproduct of their long-term relationship on the film franchise. So Toho owns the Godzilla, but they, how can I say this? Sublease Godzilla to Legendary, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's usually how that works. Yeah, it's literally Toho Company, 1954 to present.
Yeah. Interesting, man. I don't know. It's weird how the rights for Kong and Godzilla have always been kind of strange. You know what I mean? They've always been like, they bounce back and forth for like both. For both characters, like they just bounce back and forth between studios. And
well,
you know,
it's like the fact, it's the fact that like a studio can like, you know, offer license rights for them to do like their own take on it. That's usually I think that's what they did for TriStar, I think, for Godzilla.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what they did. They offered
it was
the license.
Yeah, you're right. It was TriStar.
They licensed the right to use. They gave them a license to have the right to use the name Godzilla, and that's pretty much the way it works. And Toho just continues making bank. They get a percentage of every single movie that comes out in the States. So
yeah, that's fair. Indie Phantom says, which one did you guys prefer? Kong Skull Island, I think, was decent, but I actually preferred the Peter Jackson King Kong from 2005, especially the extended cut. Dude,
I think both are good in their own right.
They're both good, but listen, for me at least, I don't think Kong Skull Island even holds a candle to Peter Jackson's King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong,
was an epic in and of itself. It wasn't even a monster movie. It was an epic.
I would put Peter Jackson's King Kong in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Like, I adore that movie. Like, that's one of those movies, like, me personally, like, that's one of, like, you know how you have those movies as a kid that, like, you can remember seeing it for the first time and it just completely blew you away. Like, that movie was one of those movies. Like, I remember seeing that in the movie theater and just being just being completely, like, just taken back by, like, the scope of that story. I mean, literally, like, the end of that movie when he's at the top of the Empire State Building and, like, he's bleeding and, like, it's very obvious that he's dying, and the planes, like, circle around to make one last stand. And, like, the other thing is, like, the cinematography and the way that movie looked. Like, you have to remember, at the time, that was the most expensive movie ever made. That movie broke records for a lot of reasons. Like, it was a really big deal because the CGI, like, you know, everybody freaked out when Avatar came out, when James Cameron's Avatar came out, because, you know, the CGI was so top notch and it was so new age and it was like new technology. Same thing with King Kong. When King Kong came out in 2005, that, I mean, you have to admit, honestly, some of the CGI in Peter Jackson's Kong beats some of the CGI from today. Like, yeah. It looks amazing. But
like, I was looking at the CGI for, like, Moon Knight, because I just saw it, which, by the way, fucking check it out. But the chase scene in that scene right there, the chase scene in that episode, CGI really wasn't all that good.
Yeah,
it really wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
and that just goes to show like how much money they invested in the editing and the CGI of that movie. Because you know why? Because they wanted to create one simple masterpiece. And that was Peter Jackson's King Kong. Now, when I say that Kong Skull Island and Peter Jackson's King Kong are good in their own right, still stand by it. Kong Skull Island, it's a great movie. I like it personally because I love seeing Kong. It's a great iteration of Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong, bro, that is an epic. It's not a monster movie. It's just an epic adventure.
I mean, like,
just so happens to be about King Kong.
I put that in the same category as I put a Dune, or as I put, like, you know, these big epic sci-fi films. Like, I would put that in the same category. I think it belongs in the same category. I mean, Jack Black as Carl Denham, genius. Would have never thought of it, but genius.
Yeah.
You know, Adrian Brody as Jack, fantastic. What's her name? Zandaro.
She plays as King Atlanta.
God, what's her name? Why am I not thinking? Why am I not thinking right?
I don't know, man.
Naomi Watts. I don't know why.
Naomi Watts.
I don't know why.
No, that's not. That's not Queen Atlanta. Fuck me.
I don't know why I could not think of Naomi Watts.
Did you know Andy Serkis plays as King Kong?
Yes, I did.
That's why it's such a good movie.
Yeah. And he just did the motion capture.
Yeah.
But it's still great, man. Yeah, dude, Miguel loves the pit sequence when they're in the pit and all the bugs are coming out.
Bro, it's by far one of my biggest fears. Sierra is, like, really scared of, like, bugs, and I always tell her that, like, bugs are really cool and, like, I don't mind them. But that scene, the pit scene, is by far a deep fear of mine. Because, like, it's the fact that like, it shows a grasshopper. But you know how we see grasshoppers, and some people are scared of grasshoppers that are this big. But imagine one the size of a hound. The size of a hound just on your face with pinchers. Doesn't matter if that thing is an herbivore or whatever. It will eat you. That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary.
I don't know. Well, it's funny because, like, that movie feels like an epic. And it's got the gross, weird bug stuff, but it's got the big, cool dinosaur fight scenes. But, like, at the same time, like, the story is so well done and the characters are so well done. Like, literally, that's what I was saying before. At the end of that movie, like, the way the sunset looks, or the sunrise looks on the Empire State Building, there's a moment where the planes circle around and the guy flying the plane actually goes...
Yeah, because he feels bad.
Like, he looks taken back because Kong is bleeding out and Anne is standing under him, and she's like sobbing, and she's screaming no. And it's like, okay, he's dying. Like, you can tell he's dying. And when he goes and he's like, that's the thing about Kong is like, I know Godzilla is stronger. Like, it's like Michael versus Jason. Like, everybody's always like, is Michael Myers, like, who would win, Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees? And it's like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how great you think Michael Myers is. Jason's always going to win. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, Godzilla's always going to win. But the thing about Kong is Kong will not go down without a fight. Like, he is going to go down swinging, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like in that movie, he goes down swinging. Like, and like the scene where he actually like falls off the Empire State Building, like he holds on long enough to look at her, and she like she hugs his hand, and then his eyes roll back and he falls. And like that scene, like actually brings me to tears every time I see it, because it's so well done and the music is so well done. Like, it just, everything about it, man. Like, it's so good. It's amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing. Indie Phantom, I would love to be, I would be down for a Godzilla 98 commentary. I read a decent book on the making of that and how it kind of flopped. I was just about to watch Moonfall, which is from the same director. Yeah, haven't seen Moonfall. One of the things we want to do,
it's just the fact that
hopefully
he didn't want to make it.
Yeah, he really didn't. We actually have a video about that on our channel too.
Yep.
Roland Emmerich did not want to make Godzilla, but basically he wanted to do another film, and they were like, "Well, if you do Godzilla, we'll give you this other movie if you do Godzilla." So he was kind of like, okay, so he was kind of thrown into that. But what was I saying?
You see what happens when a movie is studio driven?
Yeah. Right.
Not good things.
But yeah, we want to do one of the things we've talked about since the very beginning is doing a commentary or a watch along episode on King Kong 2005 and Godzilla 98, because I know a lot of people hate it. I actually enjoy Godzilla 98 for what it is. I mean, it's not a fantastic Godzilla movie, but like I do appreciate it though. I like it. It's fun. It's a really fun movie. Y'all know I'm a Green Day fan. There's a really dope version of Brain Stew with the Godzilla roars, because they remixed it for the soundtrack. Because in the 90s, we got to have dope soundtracks. That's just the way we roll.
No, in the 90s, it's got to be like a pop punk band always playing in the soundtrack.
Right? It's got to be. If you don't have a punk band on the soundtrack, then you're not doing it right. But yeah, I enjoy that movie. So that's one of the things we've talked about. So lots of stuff on the docket tonight. We already talked the Oscars, and we just talked some movie news. So that's really going to do it for us, guys, on episode number 66. We talked all the mayhem at the Oscars. We talked some movie news, including it. We talked some Godzilla versus Kong news. We also talked some Marvel news. So we hopped around a little bit tonight. Real quick, Indie Phantom, watch along. I do enjoy the film for Broderick and the whole craziness of the final act. It is wild. It's fun. Like, that's the thing. It's like, even if you think it's a bad movie, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you're listening on Spotify or watching with us on YouTube, please be sure to leave this stream a like. We want to hear your thoughts as always. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to leave us a comment. And if you're listening on Spotify or any of the other podcast platforms, please tweet us at tweet at us at We Talk the Movies. Go check out the trailer for season number 2 of Purely and Simply Evil, where we are going to take a deep dive deep into each other, into the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. That's on our channel right now, and we'll start that season sometime in April. Please be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Talk the Movies. You guys are awesome as usual. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We will have some new content coming your way very soon. So with that being said, be kind to each other. God bless. We love you.
Peace.
Bye.